Holly was 19. Her eyes were bright, her smile wide, but she longed to escape her small town's monotony and start a grand adventure. This led her to the depths of the internet, and specifically to Rick. Rick introduced himself as a mysterious man living in a big city, interested in art and looking for his soulmate. Days of endless chats and late-night calls passed. Holly thought Rick understood her soul. The poems and his seemingly sincere smile captured her heart. She was sure she felt real love. Rick eventually invited her to see him. "You're stuck in a small town, Holly. Come see my city, see real life." 2 weeks later, Holly lied to her family and took the train to the small old town where Rick lived. Her heart pounded with every mile, caught between excitement and fear. Rick met her at the station. He was taller, his eyes darker. When he embraced her, a cold shiver ran down her spine. His scent, a mix of tobacco and a heavy metallic odor like an old church basement, was unsettling, but Holly dismissed it as travel fatigue. Rick's house was a gloomy mansion on the outskirts, shrouded by woods and shadows. The house was strange. There were no pictures, only dark curtains and countless thick candles casting a reddish glow. Rick smiled, saying, "I like dim light. It's more mysterious." The first day felt like heaven. Rick served wine, gave her gifts, and treated her like a princess. But after midnight, his demeanor changed. Holly heard strange thumping from the kitchen and noticed Rick's sudden disappearances. As she tried to sleep, she heard peculiar whispers, as if someone were speaking Latin with Rick in the deep recesses of the house. On the second day, Holly found Rick's notebook in the bathroom. She thought it was poetry, but the writings and drawings were horrifying. They were not poems, but painful, satanic symbols of human bodies twisted into strange geometric shapes. On the final page, her name was scrawled in ink within a circle, Holly. Below it was the chilling Latin phrase, Sanguis pro Domino nostro, blood for our Lord. Holly's heart turned to ice, and a terrible headache began. She finally understood. Rick's love was a trap. He had brought her here as a sacrifice. Holly knew she had to escape. When Rick returned, she quickly replaced the notebook and lay down. Rick rested his head on her shoulder and whispered, "Tomorrow, ... I will have everything I've been looking for." His voice now sounded like pure, sickening evil. On the third day, Rick was tense and excited. At dinner, he offered her a large glass of red wine, saying, "This is for a special celebration." Thinking, this might be my last night, Holly intentionally dropped the wine glass, spilling the red liquid everywhere. Rick's face contorted with anger. "What have you done?" Holly cried, "I'm so sorry. I'll clean it up right away." She rushed out, pretending to head for the bathroom, but went straight to Rick's bedroom. She knew Rick was a Satanist who had sold his soul, paying with human blood. She grabbed the shiny key that looked like a ritual figure's eye and opened the locked chest. Inside were rags and a photograph of a younger Rick with a girl who had bright, smiling eyes like Holly. The back read, "Sarah, sacrifice no, 1." On the chest's lid lay a reversed ring and a note written in blood over the first poem Rick had sent her. "My soul is mine. Your blood is his." Holly understood she was not the key to his heart, but the final link in a dark ritual that nourished his soul. She closed the chest, dropped the key, and tried to slip out the door. Just as she reached it, a voice boomed from the depths of the house deeper, muffled, echoing, "She is ours." Rick stood in the center of the house, holding an old ritual dagger. Rick's eyes were no longer brown, but literally red hot. His face wore a demonic smirk. "Leaving, my love?" he said, his voice laced with cruel sarcasm. "But the ritual is just beginning, the final day of our pact. And you are the most beautiful gift of my pact." Holly, without screaming or looking back, burst out the door. She ran, barefoot and breathless, into the pitch-black forest, where the trees reached out like hands. Behind her, Rick's powerful, evil laughter echoed, making the very trees tremble. The young girl ran for hours, falling and getting up, her body covered in cuts and bruises. Finally, at dawn, she reached an abandoned gas station by a highway. She sat shivering in the dim light, her phone and wallet lost, sustained only by the will to survive. A passing truck driver stopped, horrified by her state, and opened the door. Holly had escaped the town, but the image of Rick's red eyes was etched into her mind. Police found the house burned to ashes with no bodies, only an old, intact ring in the center of the charred foundations. The inscription read, "Expecto, I await." Holly thought she was safe, but Rick had only taught her a lesson. Some souls belonged to dark forces, and some loves were merely a sacrificial price paid for eternity. She never trusted a stranger again, nor did she ever talk to anyone online. That horrific experience changed her forever, and the dark corners of the internet would always await a new victim.